Every so often, we want to step on the gas, but you find yourself pumping the brakes. Have you ever been there? I know most people have. If you have any goals that you've ever struggled with, it might have felt like this when you were struggling. Stick with me while I share my 5 top tips for dealing with self doubt. That's what it is. Self doubt. That's what's causing your resistance and lack of moving forward. Now, that may manifest in different ways. It may show up a little differently for you. But if you're not making the progress you want, there's subconscious resistance somewhere. Even if you're not taking the action, that's another clue. There's resistance if you really want to be moving toward that goal and you're not getting there. There's subconscious resistance. And normally, if you dig deep, self doubt is at play. So let's talk about this a little bit. Self doubt is very, very common, and never beat yourself up about this. If you recognize it, you're more than halfway there to fixing the problem. First, you have to build awareness. Self doubt definitely comes from a less than desirable level of self love. And that's a huge topic, and you probably think you're fine in the self-love department, but most people aren't. So I have a free resource in the comments I invite you to take a look at if you're curious or may, after hearing this, want to work on your self-love a little bit. If you don't have enough self-love, as most people don't, you will not have enough self-trust, and therefore you will doubt yourself, not always, but when you're trying to venture into new territory. That's the kicker. That's when the doubt will come up because you've never done it before. And everyone thinks, well, of course it's normal to doubt yourself. It isn't, it isn't. You will have some hesitation if you've never done it before. But if you're holding yourself back, even though you know what you need to do, and if you really analyzed it, you have the tools to do it, but you're still doubting. You're doubting yourself and your ability, and you fear failure and all of that. That is a lack of self-love and self-esteem and self-trust. It all ties together and goes back to self-love. So do take a look at that resource I included in the comments. And I've got 5 tips if you're recognizing this as a problem to move through the self-doubt. Well, the first one is to work on your self-love. So we've covered that. The next one is to ask yourself this question. What's the worst thing that I think is going to happen if I fail? If I don't accomplish where I'm trying to get to with this action that I am delaying on? What is it I'm afraid of? What is the worst case scenario? Sorry, this is more than one question. The next question would be, what's the probability of that? Because normally, there's not a very high probability. We're letting all of those what ifs get in the way when there's very little probability that anything crazy would go on other than we have to tweak and try again, which is very common when you're trying new things. Tweak and try again. Expect that. So that's my third tip. Expect to have to tweak and try again. Then you won't fear failure because you know the majority of the time people don't get it right the first time out of the gate. If you're doing something brand new to you, you've got to learn. You're not going to get it completely right. You may feel a sense of accomplishment. You may not, but you will learn. If you're just sitting there thinking about it, you're not going to learn anything. So that's my third tip. The fourth is, okay, what is it? What action are you resisting, and how can you chunk that down? Because we do find that if it is a big action, you'll have more resistance. It's very different. Your subconscious is built to try and keep you safe and resist any big changes. So if you can make it a small change, whether it's a behavior or a new habit or a new direction you want to go in, but you can kind of chunk that down and ease into it, you'll experience a lot less resistance and find it easier to move forward. So that's my fourth tip. And the last one is never to forget as you inch your way forward and you're sitting there doubting yourself to celebrate every single step you take. The fact that the idea came to you, because if it's something new and different, first you have to receive that inspiration. It's more than likely coming from your higher self or your inner wisdom. We don't just make up these things from our subconscious because it wants to keep you, its job is to keep you where you are. So if you've had divine inspiration, congratulations, celebrate that, even if you don't know how to take action yet. Celebrate each and every step of the process, each and every baby step that you can think of to make progress, because that's what behavioral specialists call the habit reward loop. To build new habits, we need positive rewards for doing the thing that's new to us and to keep us wanting to do it. And it doesn't have to be a big reward. It could be just patting yourself on the back, celebrating yourself for doing that little baby thing. If you're trying to build a new exercise habit and you decided to get on the treadmill for 10 minutes today, that may not be your ultimate goal, but that's great. If you don't normally do it, celebrate that. Every little small step forward, celebrate so you get that reward loop going and you're encouraged to move forward. It makes progress so much easier. And most people forget that until they get to the big goal they want to celebrate. No, no, no. Don't even worry about how you're going to celebrate that big goal, although you should when you get there. Start with the really small, not any big time-consuming or expensive celebration, but congratulate yourself and celebrate you for moving forward. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you stay in the loop on our future trainings, and I'll see you on the next video.